Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025. Tuesday, August the 12th. Well, you know what? Oh, you know what? Before, you know what? This Saturday, August the 16th, 2025, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Mountain time, 7 p.m. Central time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, all the time zones there. Uh, there will be a YouTube live stream, and we're going to talk about GH, talk about what we like, don't like, talk about this week, last week. We're just going to get our chat on. So I want to see you there. Mark your calendars, set an alarm on your phone so you can remember. Okay. Now let's dive right in to today's daily recap. Well, you see the caption? Change the W to a B. Yes. Okay. Drew shows up at General Hospital. Willow. And she looked up like, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, I see, he said he had an appointment or something. And she goes, no, you came here to bother me or interrupt me. And so he goes, no, I was hoping I would run into you. Yes. You know, I mean, yes. And she goes, Drew, this is my job. You knew you intentionally came here to interrupt me from working. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. So Lucas comes up and says, excuse me, but this is a nurse's station. This is a busy hospital, and Willow is working. She needs to get back to work. So Willow looks at Lucas, and Drew says, oh, so what? Are you monitoring Willow now? And he's like, if I have to be, right? And so Willow looked at him. She goes, Lucas, I got this. I can handle this. So she took him to the side. She says, oh, no, no, you're not about to do this. I have people watching my every move, and they do not need to see you around me or me around you. And he goes, Willow, you got to know. I'm only here because my main goal is to get your kids back for you, to reunite them with you. And she goes, you are the reason I lost my kids because of you. And she says, now, don't show up at my work. I have to work to get my kids back myself. And I have to get back to work. True. Then his phone, I gotta take this. It's Scout's day camp. And he's like, wait, what? Scout is missing? And she looks up from her tablet. She said, what's wrong with Scout? This is her summer camp. They said she's missing. But Willow, he's getting ready to say something else to her. She looks at him. She said, Scout is missing. So you need to go and find out what's going on with your daughter and not stand here trying to talk to me. And she goes, and let me know when she's found she's okay. She goes, kids at summer camp, they always get distracted. She could have just got distracted and she's somewhere that, where she's, you know, is not supposed to be, but she's there. She goes, but let me know how it goes. Okay, well, I will. And she just looks at him, right? But she has some concern for Scout, right? So Lucas is in his office or somebody's office, and Willow comes in and she wants to thank. She goes, Lucas, I want to thank you for trying to run interference where Drew was concerned. You know, I thank you for that, but I can handle that. I was handling it. And he goes, really? Because it sure didn't look that way to me. Willow, it looked like an addict. You looked like an addict. And Drew is your drug of choice. It looked like you were definitely enthralled in that. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, now we all know Willow, she's not my favorite person right now. But I know I didn't see what Lucas saw. Did any of you out there at Comic Corner Land see Willow backsliding and giving Drew a benefit of the doubt? Did any of you see that? I didn't. And I thought, Lucas, what are you saying? And Lucas proceeded to talk about the horrible decisions she made. She goes, you know what? Uh, I think Drew was right though. You're monitoring me. What are you doing, Lucas? Monitoring me so you can go back and talk to your nephew Michael and talk to your sister Carly. And he goes, look, there is no secret where my loyalties lie where Wiley is concerned and the choices you made. He goes, when I gave Wiley up, he goes, oh, I love that boy. And I gave him up to you and Michael because I thought you would put the kids, both of you would put the kids first. But you did not. You only put Drew first. I care for my kids and I cared about their well-being. He goes, no, no, no. Mm-mm. And he was just, I feel, well, he just got really a little rude, but truthfully rude, but rude in a manner that, Lucas, this is none of your business what you're saying now, right now. And he told her something, and because she goes, you have all these people around this hospital willing to step up and come forward and speak on your behalf at your custody hearing. He said, but really, Willow, you're not doing none of the work. You're not. And she's like, how dare you? And so he says something to her that was rude. Willow reached back and slapped the heck out of his face. And he was like, he looked at her, thought he was going to cry. You hit me, right? And so she looks down at her hand and she's looking like, oh my God, I can't believe I hit him, right? And he's looking at her like, oh yeah, you don't need to be around those kids. See, she needs now to double down because you ever heard the saying, don't write no checks your body can't handle, your mouth can't handle, your doggone face can't handle, right? So, Lucas, you were out of line. I don't give a doggone who you are. Bottom line, you're a doctor at this hospital. I'm a subordinate. You're not going to talk about me like this and about my personal business. Bam. Yeah, I slapped you. And if you ever step to me again and talk disrespectful and out of line, Lucas, I got something else for your other cheek. Okay? Got something else for you. Now stay out my business. you know? And yeah, yeah. And he would tuck his tail and go running. Hmm. Running, complaining to Portia. Yeah, well, right. So anyway, Drew, I guess, gets to Lila's camp. And somehow maybe he called Chase with him to get there. But Jason is walking down the stairs and Danny says, Dad, I've got something. I have someone I have to show you. I have a guest here. And Jason's looking like, what? Who? Walks into the living room and there's Scout. Uncle Jason! And oh, she's hugging him and he's hugging Scout. And he's looking at Danny. He goes, it's so good to see you, Scout. And he goes, Danny, how'd she get here? Well, I went by uh, the camp, Lila's kids' camp to visit her, which is good. I guess he visits his sister from time to time. Good, right? He says, and she begged me, Dad, to take her with him. She wanted to come over here to the house. She hadn't been here for so long. She wanted to see everybody. I just couldn't leave her. And Jason's like, okay. So Jason walks out the room and he picks up the phone. Well, he goes, I need you to get over to the Quartermains right now. Alexis was meeting with Marco, asking his advice about, her trying to get custody. And he told her what Molly told her because she wanted an unbiased opinion. She said Molly is his aunt, right? And he pretty much told her what Molly told her. And she's like, okay. And then she got the phone call from Jason. So she gets over there and she goes, what is going on? Is everything okay with Danny? So Jason takes her into the living room and she goes, Scout, Grandma. She runs over there and she's hugging Alexis, right? And she goes, oh, honey, okay. How'd you get here? And she goes, Danny brought me over here. And she looked like, oh, okay. And she said, and so Jason says, no, Alexis says, you know what, Danny, can you take Scout to the stables? And maybe Jason even said it, right? To see if you could feed Hades. And I'm thinking, well, what's the calm one? Because little James didn't ride Hades. He rode Comet. Where's Comet? Scout need to go feed Comet. Because Hades could be temperamental, right? He could be a little on the dark side. So anyway, Danny takes her, and Jason said Danny went to go visit her at camp, and she begged him to take her here. She misses everybody. And Alexis says, know. I know. And Drew just doesn't see what he is doing to her. Now, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I see a problem with this. And the real problem was, okay, yeah, Jason called Alexis. But once Alexis would have seen the situation, they should have called Drew right away. I mean, and you all know I can't stand Drew. But bottom line, the camp was going to report Scout missing. Drew should have got a phone call from you guys before a camp ever called him. Period. Or Jason should have seen Scout there and say, honey, I know how much you want to be here and we love you. We want to be here. You here. Or even when they saw Alexis came, she should have said, but grandma has to take you back to camp. Okay. And then grandma will have a serious talk with daddy. Even though Alexis had told Jason, yeah, Jason keeps promising he'll let Scout come visit and he never does. And she said it. She goes, Daddy keeps saying I get to come and see Danny and Rocco, but work always comes up. He never brings me. Mm-hmm. Why, Scout's gonna run away for real. But anyway, they don't call Drew, which I thought I see trouble. So Drew comes through the front door with Chase because the Quartermains don't lock their doors. They just don't. And Yuri's never there to intercept. Because mind you, Drew's supposed to be banned from the property, but I guess since he's coming with Chase, Chase lives there. So she goes, Daddy? And he goes, Scout, I was so worried about you. He goes, oh, and I see Grandmom is here. Like, you couldn't call me Alexis, which is what I'm thinking. Should have called him. He would have been worried like any father would be. Okay. So he goes, Scout, honey. And he said the name of the nanny. She's waiting for you out in the car. I need you to go out in the car. And she goes, but I haven't had a chance to see Grandma Monica. And he goes, I know you haven't, but you know what? I'm going to bring you back another time. And she looked at him. She says, you always say that, and you never bring me. And he goes, Daddy's going to figure something out later, but I need you to go to the car. So she goes out, and he shuts the door, and he turns around. And he says, now, we got to Lila's camp, and they said another one of the kids there saw Scout riding off with Danny. And so he goes, what did he say? He said something. And so Jason says, what? So do you want to, what? Let me guess. Have me arrested? And he goes, no, you didn't break the law. But Danny did. Ooh, when he said that, I said, ooh, ouch, bad move. And Jason looked at Drew because Danny says, Scout really misses us. She is very sad. She begged me to bring her. Why can't Mom wanted us to see each other? Right? And so Alexis says, why is it that a teenager understands the situation than the father? And so she goes, but what he did broke the law. So Chase, arrest him. And Chase looks at you. He goes, wait, what? And Jason's like, And Danny says, what? She's my sister. And Alexis says, you have got to be kidding me. Look, they need to do the biggest hate press on what he's doing. Congressman Kane has the brother of his young daughter arrested for visiting her. Curtis needs to run a good spin on it. But see, Curtis is too busy saying, I'll play nice. No. But let's face it, that ain't going to work. Chase is not going to do that. Not going to do it at all. Period. Because we already know Jason's flying out of town in 2 days. So Daddy ain't going to be in jail with Jason leaving. Alexis probably would say, you do that, and we're going to sue you. I will be representing my grandson because Danny's her grandson. Oh, no, you are not. Right? But see, that's how Drew is. Danny's 15. That's how Drew is. Okay. I can't wait to see what transpires tomorrow. Now, we have Liesl. Remember the agreement that was made just yesterday? Tell me why Liesl was all dressed up in pool attire, and the pool is not on the same floor, same level as the exit to the Metro Court. She was stopping by to see Rocco anyway. She didn't care what they agreed on at all. So she saw Outback, And Geo, Anna was up there talking to Emma, saying, "No, we've got to find a home for the dog. For the dog, just can't keep him, Emma. No, I warned you. We lived in a no pet building." And so Emma's like, "That's not all I'm upset about." And she says, "You had Professor Dalton's lecture canceled." She goes, "Yes, I did. Because I know what you're up to and I'm trying to protect you." So Emma's being headstrong and Anna's being, trying to protect her. And so Gio was saying, "We're trying to find a home for him. We're in a building that can't have dogs." And Rocco says, "He's so great. Do you think you could take him?" And Liesl says, "Oh, I would love to take this cute little fellow, little outback. He reminds me of my dog." And she said the name of her dog. And she says, "But alas, I live in the hotel. He can't stay with me. Otherwise, for you, Rocco, anything." And he looked at her and he smiled. Lulu comes walking up. She wanted to come and see Rocco. And I'm like, okay, either last night was Dante's night. Otherwise, Lulu, you live in the home. Rocco lives with you half the time. If this were your night, you saw him when he left. He is at work. And Lulu sits there and camps out all day long while this boy is working. Now, if Valentine is out and nobody's keeping real tracks, because remember the WSB put him away, well, we all know Brennan could have let him go because Valentine does know WSB secrets. And Valentine would be like, "My daughter is not even an afterthought at all. Didn't bring Charlotte to the pool with her. And Charlotte's still on summer vacation." I mean, the Charlotte non-existence is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. Recast the girl. They've done it before. Just recast her. She should have a presence there. So anyway, she walks out there and she sees Liesl, you know, cooing over out back and talking and just laughing and blah blah blah. She storms off and goes to Carly. "You have to evict Liesl Obrecht from this hotel now. She's upstairs fawning over a dog, talking to Rocco." So Carly looks at her. uh okay, like, what's wrong with that? She is completely ignoring the agreement we all made that she won't speak to Rocco unsupervised. But as long as she stays in this hotel, she has every reason to run into him at the pool. She knows he works there. "You have to help me, Carly." So she goes, "What are you expecting me to come up with?" She goes, "If anybody could be creative, we all know it's you." So Carly's like, "Yeah, I could be pretty creative, but I'll see what I could do." So Lulu goes back upstairs and she sits with Anna and she's talking, not even really talking to Anna. "Hey, Anna, how's everything?" As she's looking at Liesl and Rocco. And so Anna says, "Oh, just dealing with my granddaughter." you know, Goodness. And so Lulu says something to her, but then she's still looking at Liesl. Well, Liesl gets actually, I think Rocco needed to go on break. So he asked Liesl to hang on to the dog. See, I don't understand. You just bringing the dog to work. Well, 'cause look, can't leave him in the apartment, right? So he comes back from his break and he says, "Thank you so much for watching Outback for me." And blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the other pool boys comes back and says, oh, you know what? The drink you ordered, it can't be charged to your room. There's some kind of problem. And she goes, what? How could there be a problem? He goes, I'm sorry, you're going to need to use a credit card. She's like, and you need to go to the front desk to find out what happened. She's like, oh. So she uses her credit card. She goes downstairs to check it out. And as she walks by, Lulu's sitting there like, mm-hmm. Yeah. And she goes to Carly. She goes, I can't believe I have been evicted from my room. She says, yeah, yeah, there's been, your room has a health issue, biological hazard. And she goes, what, mold? Carly says, oh, it has mold. We're getting the whole situation corrected, but you cannot stay in the room while the work is being done. We will comp your room elsewhere, meaning you can go to the Metropolitan, or Cosmopolitan. We'll pay for it. And Liesl says, oh, just wait until I tell Rocco that his mother is behind me being evicted from the hotel. And Carly just looks at her. Now, either Carly's going to say, you know what, let me double check to see if I got another room on another floor. Because let's face it, that place is not booked. There's no convention. Okay. Her mold has rooms. She need to be comping her penthouse suite upstairs, deluxe suite. Right? So Liesl just looks at her. So we'll see what Carly does. But if Carly says, well, I'm sorry, you still are going to need to find another hotel. Liesl is going to go upstairs and tell Rocco. She's going to. And I can't say I blame her. But look, she's not honoring the agreement. So Rocco brings Outback over to Lulu, and Lulu's petting the dog and said he is a cute dog. And he goes, we haven't been able to find a home. Mom, can we take Outback? And I'm thinking, well, Outback sure is going to get no attention, just like Charlotte, right? Rocco's only there half the time. So she goes, Rocco, we are all so busy. We have busy lives. I just don't know how. I just don't really think so. And he goes, mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm thinking Lulu lives more in the woodsy area. I think this is what's going to allow Outback to be able to rescue whoever Outback is going to sniff his way to, right? I really believe that's how it's putting him more in close proximity, because I'm sorry, the Quartermains would have been a better place to ask to take Outback. Could have had Danny ask Monica, you know, because we haven't heard about Annabelle the first, well, Annabelle the second died already in the first. They should have been on Annabelle the third. The last time we saw Annabelle the third was Thanksgiving, probably 4 years ago. Remember when that live turkey was delivered? Olivia was ordering a fresh turkey. She didn't know it was freshly breathing and running around. And Annabelle was chasing that turkey all over the place. And that just was wreaking havoc on the kitchen. Well, Outback would be perfect for the Quartermains. He'd be loved. He'd have stables. He'd just be in doggy heaven. But no, he's going to be with Lulu for a while, for a reason, right? So he goes, oh, man, okay. The closest I came to finding someone to take Outback was Dr. Obrecht said she would definitely take him for me. And Lulu looked like, oh no, I can't have her outshine me. She goes, you know what, Rocco? You're right. We should take him. She says, but you have to promise to help me take care of him. And he goes, I promise, Mom, I promise. Oh, you're the best, Mom. You're the best. And so he's hugging her, and she's like, "Yeah, okay, I got the love right." Until Liesl marches up there and says what she did and had her evicted. But my whole thing is, Rocco is what, 15? You want us to take this dog in? It's not, you're gonna have to promise to help me take care of the dog. It's the dog is a big responsibility. And while the days that you're home, you're taking care of the dog. Understand that, Rocco. Before you go to work, you're going to walk the dog. When you get home, you're going to walk the dog. Lay some doggy health rules down. But anyway, whatever. So Outback is going to have a temporary home. And I think that is it, but I can't wait for Obret to see. I can't wait to see what Carly ends up doing and then what Liesl does. Now let's go to the 5 poppies. Uh Vaughn and Joss, he lets her sleep in and he has them deliver, breakfast on a tray. And the door's still open with the little waiter or a staff employee that bring in the food. And he goes, to Mike, wake up, sleepyhead. Slept in till noon. And she's like, wait, what? Why would you let me sleep in till noon? And the door's still open. And he puts the tray down, across Jocelyn's lap, and he walks back to the door and he gives the guy a tip and he closes the door. She goes, why would you let me sleep this late? He goes, well, we're newlyweds. And it would be quite natural for you to be sleeping this late. She goes, oh, because you kept me up all night. And she looked at him. He goes, yeah, he goes. She said, as if, you know, right? And so he goes, okay, we need to get out there and start surveying this property. And so Jocelyn says, I have a better idea. We need to split up. Let's see. That's mistake number 1. They should have stayed together. She goes, we could cover more grounds. I could head to the spa, check things out all along the way, and book us a couples massage. You can check out the employee interests and blah, areas and blah, blah, blah. She goes, we cover double ground in the same amount of time. We come back and we compare notes. He goes, you know what? That could work. So Vaughn arrives at the pool. Britt's already there. She's still relaxing. And I'm thinking, Pajama Pascal ain't gonna like that. Right? So he's sitting there. Somehow he's standing blocking her son. And she kind of looks and goes, oh, I am so sorry. I am blocking your son. So he steps out of her way. She goes, oh, I didn't mind. I got a little shade for a few minutes from you. And he sits down. He takes off his shirt first, little 6-pack of showing. And he sits down on the chaise and he's lays back, puts his hands behind his head, and he looks over at her and he looks away. And so he says something to her, and she speaks back, and he goes, by your accent, you're definitely American. And she said, and by yours, you are too. And he says, yeah, yeah. He goes, this is a really nice place. I'm thinking of buying one of those units over there. She goes, oh, really? He says, but I do want to check out, the whole, the grounds more before I commit to those the finances. And he says, are you on vacation? She says, no, I'm a tent. I live here. He goes, wow, it must be nice you living on on grounds like this. He goes, hey, do you think you could show me around? And she looked at him and she goes, you're wearing a wedding ring. And he goes, yeah. And she goes, are you happily married? And he goes, am I happily married? She goes, well, it sure is taking you a long time to answer that. He goes, I'm newly married. So I don't, I mean, we're honeymooning. I guess I could say I'm happily married, you know? And so she goes, well, how would your new bride feel me showing you around the property? And he says something, and uh Britt kind of chuckles, and she gives him her her suntan, not suntan, her sunscreen spray. And she sits up, and I thought, well, that's a little forward Brit, so he could spray. And he's spraying her back in her arm, and she's kind of giggling a bit. That's all Brit. Right? And so Josh comes walking around, and there's a one of the employees. He's got on shorts, and a shorts uh shirt. He was the one bringing alcohol out to Britain, the people out there at the pool area, I guess that is. And I said, well, look, that even looks pajama-ish, right? But just shorts and it's a little shiny. Um, so he tells Jocelyn, would you like me to get you or something? And she says, no, I'm here to meet my husband. Oh, and I see him over there. Thank you. So he walks away. And she's getting ready to walk out there, and she looks, and this is where Britt is sitting on the edge of the chair, facing her, with her back to Vaughn, and he's spraying her, kind of laughing and talking. And she sees this Britt, and she's like, what? And she kind of steps back, and she's looking. So Jocelyn has now seen Britt. So she's probably going to have to text Vaughn to meet her back at their room, because she can't have her cover blown, right? So that's going to be interesting to see, you know, how that's going to transpire. So we got some good stuff going into the rest of this week that's happening and unfolding. I'm kind of excited about this week, everybody. Now let's go to Comic Corner voice line. We have two callers. So let's go ahead and get that started. I'm gonna go right on ahead and share my screen.
This is
This does this every single time. Hold on for a second here.
this is General Reporting my destiny. Coffee and Brendan. It was amazing.
Over again.
This is Edge of Night. Recap lady, like I said, Carly and Brennan. Brennan, it was amazing. I can look at Carly and really not tell the truth. But that's okay, because when we all see what Carly is going to do to Mr. Brennan once she finds out that her daughter is involved in his little whatever, she will be singing him a song. And we all know what that song is. What love got to do with it? It's only a second-hand emotion. Recap lady is coming. She will be singing that song. Have a good one, sweetheart. Edge of Night from Texas.
I guess actually there was only one comment today. Could have sworn there were two. If I'm going to find the other comment, I will play it tomorrow, because I know there were definitely two comments here. So I'll find that one, everybody. And I will add it to the comments for tomorrow. So let's go to Comic Corner, Comic Corner. And we're going to start from the bottom up. From the bottom up. Okay, my trusty dusty stopwatch. Here we go. The bottom up says, there we go. Black Purple Turquoise says, I just want to hurry up and get to Friday already so Jason and Britt can finally reunite. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be all Willow days. Ugh. And tomorrow is going to be Willow and Drew Day. Oh, that's what we saw. But look, she didn't give Drew an in. Erg. They both really need to hurry up and get theirs. And if Scout now gone missing, according to the previews for Tuesday, then she'll be much better off without him, even though it's only brief. And she was so happy, right? Around her, actively harming her and causing her more emotional trauma without him around her, causing emotional trauma and upheaval than he already has. And as far as Wiley and Amelia go, they need Michael to protect them more than ever now that Willow and all her deliberate, calculated evil, as well as just like Nell, Nina, and Drew. But she's far worse than she was this far worse because she's always been hiding a fake angelic facade, and no one was ever able to see her coming. That is true. And now she's not getting her way. Everyone's forgiving her and forgetting everything she's done, like she's done, like she wants, especially Michael, in order to let her see Wiley and Amelia again. She's going to become more intentionally volatile and cruel than she already has. Well, she hit Lucas, hit him good, but I kind of think he deserves that. However, her antics will eventually be brought into the light, and I can't wait to see it because Willow has done bad, malicious, and vindictive uh, all by herself without Drew's presence. With Willow, uh, what Willow did on purpose, stalking and kidnapping Daisy and gaslighting Sasha, speaks to that. I can't wait for her and Drew both to be exposed. Well, let's see if not Brad, Lucas does report her and it goes on her record, she's being physical at work. Okay. Oki says Alexis um, is slightly below Drew on the shady scale. I'd rather Molly adopt Scott. Lori says that is a great idea. Molly would be fun to see as a parent. If Jason is the dad, though, no, Jason should be the uncle figure. Uncle Jason. Jason ain't around enough. Let's be real. Thank goodness Danny is a teen and doesn't, need that. Thank goodness Danny's not Scout's age because Jason is not around enough to parent a small child. Um, I don't know. And then says Sam wanted all her kids to be together. With these writers, who knows? And then Melody says, I concur. And then Oki says, put your father in jail first, Dante, the hypocrite. Oh, you talking about him threatening old Brett? And then we have, let's see, let me go up to Pam says, Maxie and Elizabeth were both good mothers. Oh, that's right. We were talking about the good mothers. The number one good mother, everybody was saying, was Lila Q. And you are right. Lila Quartermain was very patient with Tracy, but Tracy was Tracy. And Lila rarely interfered with Edward doling out his Edward punishment to Tracy because Tracy did some things to the family, right? She definitely did. And then Lisa says, I agree. They both listened to and guided their kids. They showed them love and respect to them. And then Emma says, those are the only two I know of. Elizabeth, I can't honestly say. They did show a lot of Elizabeth as a single parent raising her boys. She definitely was attentive to them. She really, really was. And then we have Dashia says, wait until Liesl Obrecht finding out that her Brit is alive and well, then comes back to Port Charles, Rocco. We'll see. It's going to be some problems there because we know Brit will cause some problems. Let's see. Oki, you did a great job starting a lot of comments, and we have a lot of replies to your comments. But since I have limited time, I'm scrolling up to hearing from new people. Magdalena says, "Hi, hello, Daily Recap lady. Today's episode, I loved how Laura put Liesl in check. Bravo for Laura. I'm so glad that Anna told Jason that was a good scene. In reference to Alexis, she's going to do what it takes to get Scout, but she doesn't realize in doing all of that, all of her underhanded is going to come out. You mean all of that embezzlement? Yeah, Alexis, I'm telling you. I skipped Cody and Ava scene. Cody, Ava, and Nina scenes. It was cute. It was cute in reference to Jocelyn and Vaughn. An excellent mother was Denise Alexander, who played Laura's mother. I don't remember Laura's mother. I thought her name was Leslie. She named her Lulu after her mother, Leslie Lou. I mean, Leslie. Anyway, well, that's all for now. Keep it tuned in after 60 years. Yes. And then Melody says Molly should go for custody of Scout. She won't get it. Magdalena says, hello, I agree that Molly should go for custody of Scout. Have a wonderful day. Molly works late hours as a ADA. Molly would not have the time that Scout needs, right? Sewing Room says, lovely, so sticking it to Lulu. She told Lulu the truth. Lulu is a negative parent. Get your grandparent rights, Liesl. And that won't work. Melody says she actually has no rights to Rocco, which is true, but it could be nice for them if she could be a friend. Yes, just a friend. Tamara says because she was in a coma, question mark, question mark. You can't be serious. What, that Lulu wasn't a negative mother? No, it's just Lulu. Come on. She doesn't pay it. When have we seen her do real mothering, real things with her kids? Even just talking. She's spying on Rocco at the pool. But the proof in the pudding is what we're going to see with her daughter, period, right? Dante dealing with the son Rocco more would give Lulu the time to really just see where her daughter's head is at. LaShanta says Liesl is no grandparent, but I agree. Lulu has been all about Charlotte at Rocco's expense. I have no sympathy for her because she didn't care about Brooklyn. All right, that's it for Comment Corner. Comment Corner. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to scroll up. There was one comment that I made a comment on it, but I want to bring it out if I can take just a minute to find it. I know it was up at the top. Where is it? And if I don't see it in just a quick second, I'm just going to paraphrase what happened. We had a comment, and I'm not seeing it. Normally, I would see my comments on there too. Someone said, oh my goodness, and now I can't think of, but the comment was directed at those of us, I think, that had a problem with Lulu. And the comment was that it was negative towards the commenters. Okay. Now, that's where, remember I said we don't really go negative on other commenters because of their views. You can have a different view. That's 100% fine. Different views are okay. We all have different views. But when you say all of you that think so and so, you all are delusional, none of that. No. Then I had another comment where the commenter said, let's see, she said that some of us, oh, here we go. There we go. Now, I'm just going to read a little bit of this comment. I'm not going to say the name. Some people who have continued to co-sign Dr. Obrecht's unstable behavior towards Rocco are delusional. See, that's attacking other commenters. That was a no. Okay. And I even like put parentheses around that. Then we had another person who said, I disagree. Personally, I disagree with X, Y, and Z. And that personally, I disagree was not singling out a commenter, but just saying he disagreed and gave the reason why they disagreed with it's a storyline in general. Okay, that's okay. But just because we don't agree, don't say things like you all are delusional or you all are crazy or things like that. No, I won't keep those comments there. I just replied and gave an example of what was the negative just so that person could know. But anyway, everybody, that's it. That's it for Comment Corner. Don't forget about Saturday. We're going to go live streaming. I'm looking so forward to that. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily recap of General Hospital.